Okay, you guys, welcome to our June Academy call. Just so amazing. I am recording this. This is going to be available. It went wonky last month, which drove me bonkers because, and Nikki, maybe you can help me because we answered Anne's question last time. She left a beautiful question in the group, and basically it was, how do you do it all, right? Like multiple businesses, life, kids, and Anne, like you've got like the extracurricular activities going on, and
I'm in my car right now because I had to drop him off for a warm up because we had a game at.
Because you're actually Superwoman. That's why. Like, it's amazing. But I wanted to make sure to answer that. And Nikki, maybe you can help me reflect back too. So a number of the things that came up were, of course, give yourself grace, right? Like always, always, always do what feels good. Follow the fun, right? Because we get into the places, especially when you have multiple businesses, it's like, okay, how do I put on this hat and then wear this hat and then like kind of interchange them? And like, you feel like you're just running in a million different directions. We talked about really reminding yourself to be centered in who you are, because even though you wear multiple hats and do multiple businesses, if you're being you all the way around, it's just going to come out like so much more fluidly when you're really like stepping into that for yourself. And then I know that I made the point of, what are the income producing opportunities, right? Like how to prioritize, well, what brings you joy, but then also what's going to immediately start to generate revenue for you. And hopefully there's a good correlation between that joy giving thing and the revenue producing. But if not, maybe it's time to reassess, okay, how can we take the thing that has the more immediate ability to produce revenue for you and make it fun, right? Like recalibrate, get excited again, try something new within the world, but still go for it. Nikki, can you remember anything else that we talked about?
Yeah, I feel like that was the gist of it. The thing that's coming up for me right now, that we talked about this morning, is just following the creativity a little bit more. I wrote the other day a new blog post about how the eat the frog concept, like the do the thing at first thing in the morning, or like eat the biggest frog, works for me, but I had to put a little bit of a twist on it. So I don't know if this will help you. I realized that my nocturnal behavior in the past, like staying up till midnight and 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, is because I am not doing the one task that I really wanted to do that day. And so I'm pushing on my pressure prompted mindset and staying up late, even though I don't want to. So I'm trying to flip that a little bit more and think of, what is the task that is not going to let me fall asleep at night? Like tonight, what's that task? And I do that as soon as I can, as soon as I'm like mentally prepared to. Sometimes it's not first thing, sometimes it's a little bit later, but it's still not, recently it hasn't been like starting something at 9 p.m. And then it kind of allows me to do all the other stuff that's fun and maybe not generating revenue right this minute, but I know it will 6 months from now, if that helps.
I like what you said too, Nikki, about like, even if it's, so what's the thing that's going to keep you up if you don't get it done? And it's okay not to do it first, as long as you give yourself the space and the container within which to do it. Right. So it doesn't have to be the very first thing. Sometimes it's easy to look at the to-do list and be like, okay, this is going to take me all of 8 seconds to do boom, 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 and like get those quick wins, but then know that the majority of your work time is going to be centered around getting that bigger thing done, rolling, whatever it is, published, like, insert your choice word here. I love that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's been helping me lately, because I know with so many hats, that's that's part of it, is there's so many fun things, but sometimes the fun things aren't the revenue generating, almost always in some cases.
9 times out of 10, they're not yes, not the one that's
Yeah.
generating revenue for
But
us.
they
yes.
will be in 6 months, but at the same time, you got to feed the kids and yourself.
Well, that's just it. I know. And recently I've needed to take on a part-time job. And so I've got a part-time job, and then I'm doing the business, and I'm doing this other thing. And for the Hawaii thing still going on, once a month. It was twice a month. Now it's once a month. So it's like, it's just balance. But I think once Taylor graduates this Saturday, it's going to be so much easier.
Holding space for you, Mama. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
How
I
you
know.
doing?
Yeah. It's been a tough one for me to do. I don't know why. Because she leaves for 2 months after that.
Yeah.
So I think I've just been go, go, go and doing so many things. So I was a little bit run down last month. I had a cold that turned into bronchial infection, and I just had to take some time away.
Yeah. I feel like for you, Anne, it's just been so overdrive in all areas. Like,
It happened.
you have been creating amazing things, but then on the other side of that, like, there has to be that space, like, that once the halt happens, there's got to be that recovery time period. And we forget about that, especially when we're excited about doing all the things. But also, like, it's not just you doing all the things. Like, there's a lot happening within your family, exciting, amazing stuff, but major life shifting, momentous stuff or monumental stuff. Like, it's big. So we've got you. Like, feel all the emotions, make sure you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's coming through for me. Like, what are you doing for you?
Nothing right now, honestly. Yeah. I've just been go, 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 getting everything ready for graduation, the party, the night, and then it's Father's Day, and then it's 4 days later she leaves.
Yeah.
We've been getting everything ready for that.
Yeah. Can you do anything for yourself, even small, like go get a nice latte or something and just like dub that like okay, this is all I can do right now, but that's okay because this is what I can do right now? Do you have any availability to do anything like that?
Sorry, I had a phone call that came in and
That's okay. You have the prettiest
That's
picture.
so weird. I did too. At the same time. My father-in-law.
Weird. As I check my phone, I'm like, did I get a call?
Did I get a call?
Did I get a call?
Did she take it?
I don't know. Sometimes it like bumps you and then it's hard for it to reconnect.
Yeah.
Ashley, how are you? Can you hear us? Now my computer's talking. What is happening?
Something's happening.
Grab the crystals.
Oh my God.
Well, Nikki, I figured I would take this time to answer your question that you posted in the mastermind because, like, why not benefit everybody? So you asked, I'm curious how everyone schedules to do tasks for assistants and employees. Logistically, I'm wondering if you give them ongoing tasks at the beginning of the month or week, or do you give tasks on an as-needed basis? So I'm just starting to really get into things with my amazing VA, and I'm so grateful for her. So far, it's been more of like on an ad-needed basis, but we're starting to recognize the things that, this is like as needed right now because I'm thinking about it, but this can continue on. And then I'm building out different things. Like she can do most of my podcast production. It's just literally getting in the mode of, I do this part, I send it off, you retrieve it, you do that part. So it's just getting in the mode of that. But that once that's done, that's like an ongoing forever and ever and ever thing. So I am looking to like offload stuff that is like forever yours. It's just for me, it's the getting the space to write out all the instructions and doing that.
Right.
So
is that how you communicate with her? You write it out?
We do a bunch of different things. We do Voxer. We do a check-in pretty much daily, which is really nice. So like I'll just let her know what I'm up to that day and she'll let me know what she's up to. And right now she's in a lot of research mode for me because there's so many things that I literally have to research, but like right now, like it's coaching or content creation, and researching things is just not a thing. So it's been a lot of like, this is where I stand with this, but we have, what's it called? Trello, which I haven't gotten into. Emily's probably like, would you flipping open that thing? But so we have Trello, which is good. Another one is Asana, which I've used by myself in a previous life, and I liked that one. But Trello seems really easy because it's kind of like sticky notes that you can like move around right on the desktop to let each other know like what task that you're doing. But Voxer and then Facebook Messenger, just because like when I'm sitting down to work, I'm at the computer. So that's easy for us. So it's not super fluid yet, but it's getting there.
Okay. Yeah, I just realized.
That's a good way to go.
Yeah, I love Voxer. Oh, good, Ashley. I see you. That's totally fine, sister. You listen in and take it in. Yeah, but I totally recommend Vox. Like, Voxer is just the easiest thing, and I'm looking grateful for it for so many levels. Can we jump back to Anne for a second?
Oh, yeah. No, that's really helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Anne.
Sorry, I had a phone call come in and it disconnected you.
Totally fine. Totally fine, sister. I was just saying, can you do anything small for you leading up to, even if it's going to get a latte and like saying, this is all that I can do right now, but this is what I can do right now. This cup of joy, right? Like, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but it can be something like, even if it's like going and, people always think like, oh, go get your nails and go, like, I'm like, that takes a lot of time. So like, yeah, it feels good. But like, also when you're in like the push, like I have to get a bazillion things done for other people. Maybe it's just going for a quick walk around your house, but like dubbing that me time. Right. Like,
I'm actually going to go over, there's a nail salon close to my house, but I'm going to walk there and get my nails done.
Yes.
And so I'm going to do that on Friday, and it's like, okay, I got that appointment. But I can just walk in. I don't have to make an appointment. So it's not like I have to be stressed, like, oh, I have to be there at 2 o'clock.
Right.
I didn't make an appointment purposely because I just walk over there, do my thing. I can go to Jamba Juice, get my little cream juice I like, and then there I go.
Good. That sounds beautiful. Now let me ask you this. What are you going to do after graduation, after the flight takes off, all of those things? What are you going to do for yourself?
I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
I have. That's why you keep me around. So what feels fun? I mean, I know that you can't even like that time frame doesn't feel too fun right now. I mean, it feels exciting, but it feels like, so what feels fun that you can look forward to?
What's good about dropping her off is dropping her off at the church. Mm-hmm. We are not allowed as parents to take them to the airport. Mm-hmm. We drop off at the church. We say goodbye to the church. The parents have to leave before the kids leave. We aren't allowed to stay and linger.
Powerful.
Which is good. I think that's really good of them. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be 5 o'clock in the evening when I drop her off. So I thought I'll just take my son. I'll take it out for a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
Yeah.
And that would be a good thing.
And then what will you do for you after your son goes to bed and it's you sitting in your home? What will you do for you?
Now have a glass of wine and put in my favorite movie. There we go.
That sounds perfect.
That's the thing I just think I'd want to do right now. I just snuggle up in a blanket and just veg.
Yeah. And so having something like that, like to like just even seeing your face, like you went, oh, like that sounds really nice. Like
it does sound nice.
Leaning into that and having that to look forward to is going to be a huge like momentum shifter for you. I think that's going to be really powerful for you to just hold on to. Oftentimes when we've got all these things, having that anchoring thought or that anchoring event to really hold on to in the future is so, so powerful.
Exactly. And I'm not sad that I'm sad she's going to be gone for 2 months, but I'm so thrilled for her.
Yeah.
And this is such a great thing for her.
Yeah.
She's leaving, going to have this good time, and she's going to be serving the people, and they are so lucky.
You know what I was thinking would be kind of cool? So when I was pregnant with both my sons, I kept a journal for them, and like I wrote to them even when they were within me, and I've like kind of continued that on. Just like with little like updates as they've grown. So I was just thinking, like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you like kept a little like just daily like checking in or like thoughts of the day for her to come back to, like, this is what I did today. And like it doesn't have to be super profound, but just like to let her know that you were thinking of her, because I know that you're so tender and you're so caring with your words that might mean a lot for you to feel like you're kind of including her in what you're going through as she's experiencing this new thing.
That's a good idea. So I won't be able to talk to her every day. We'll probably be able to only talk once a week.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask, do you know what your love language is, Anne?
I do not.
Because what I was going to ask you was, do you feel like you need time with her before graduation, like a mother-daughter date?
Yeah, we had one the other day, but I'm trying to get another one, but I feel like I'm forcing it this week because she kind of wants to be by herself.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be around friends. She wants to be by herself this week. So I'm giving her that space. But I want her to, like today I wanted her to go out and have lunch with me. Like, come on, let's go have lunch. Let's go have lunch. I don't want to go have lunch. You know, then we got in a little bit of an argument, and I was trying to make sure I diffused it from my end. So I was like, I don't want to leave it in an argument. That's okay. Have your space. So I'm trying to give her grace right now too, because I think she's just trying to, acclimate herself.
Yeah, she's feeling all the feels too.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point though, and maybe something that could be something cool that you do for you. Read the 5 Love Languages. And actually, if you've never read that book, I literally think that it should be a human requirement that we read that book. It's so powerful.
No, and I haven't seen the book. I just never read it.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you would really like it too. It really helps you to tap into, oh, that's why this means so much to me, and that's why this is like not important at all, but it also teaches you how to show other people love who don't have the same as yours, because that's not natural for you. So like my husband's is gifts and I'm words of affirmation. He's like, seriously, like you could not talk to me and that would be fine. And I'm like, but I love you so much. And I think I'm showing him that I love him, when actually like he would just like for me to like hand him sea glass or something because it reminded me of him. Like, so it's just really cool to get to know yourself and your loved ones better.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
For your kids too.
Really good
so
for your kids.
You can because it's me and my husband, but you can then show your kids the love language that they like.
That's a good idea.
Which is super helpful, because me and my mom do not have the same love languages. And it took, so like for like life, like you're kind of like navigating like that funky water, like what is the disconnect here? And it's just like, oh, we just literally speak a different language, and we always kind of figured it out. But now it's nice to just have words and almost rules to it. Makes it a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah, I know my mom and I speak a different love language.
Yeah.
That I do know.
My dad and I speak
tell that.
pretty much the same, but he's the one person that I'm like, I can't tell you anything because you're a words of affirmation person too, and you will hold me to everything that I say. So just different dynamics with different parents. But so, okay, Anne's got homework. You have some self-care time. You've got a book to now read, which I think will be really powerful for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome. All right, Nikki, what do you have for us this evening? Nikki and I always end up chatting our one-to-one call because Nikki's does one-on-one with me as well. And so we always end up chatting like the morning of the Academy call. So I'm like, great, what'd you figure out in the past 8 hours?
Well, I thought tonight I might extend our conversation around like male, female, feminine, masculine dynamic. And
Love it.
I actually had this is ametrine. It's amethyst and citrine, I think. And it's supposed to balance, like harmonize male, female. So actually, when we were talking earlier, it's also good for your solar plexus chakra. Yeah. So I actually had it like on my stomach, like
oh cool,
clear everything.
Yeah.
But I guess I would just like to know what you've learned so far, I guess, Jill, because I know you're kind of on this path too. Yeah. With like expanding the feminine and, you know, doing all that. So I guess, I don't know. I guess I just want to pick your brain almost.
Yeah. Pick away. Do you have anything specific, or do you want me to just kind of riff for a minute?
Yeah, just riff, because nothing specific. I'm like in this state of wanting to be a student in this, I guess. So yeah.
So good. Yeah, this is like I'm being the ever student with this right now too. And Ashley, like just to give you a little bit of background, so we are all just navigating these amazing energy waters right now, and like tapping into different truths, like, right? So you guys know me, like the true you, like that is what I really want to discover. And so my journey with that has been that evolution back to my divine feminine, not just the true you in general, but specifically seeking her out and trusting enough to listen to her, because I think that's the biggest thing for me right now is we all have that wise goddess within us, like that wise, deeply wise, completely divine feminine. Now we also have divine masculine within us too, but society as a whole right now, the society that we live in is very masculinized down to the way that we just function throughout our day, and the expectations that the world places on us, and that we have literally just like fused into. For instance, have any of you ever felt that you should be able to wake up, do all the things, go to bed, wake up, do all the things, go to bed, like lather, rinse, repeat every single day, right? Like, so our female body is actually not even capable of doing that. Our female soul cycle, everything is not capable of doing that. And here's the thing, that is a freaking superpower that it's not capable of doing that, because we are so much more dynamic than that. And there is just so many more moving pieces. Now, thank goodness for that masculine, boom, boom, boom side, like stuff gets done within that, right? But also stuff gets done within the creative, within spaciousness, within expansion, that we just have lost the ability to trust over generation and generation and generation of really being kind of pushed aside, like, get out of the way, female, the masculine's coming through. So one thing that has been huge for me in my own personal learning, and I actually spoke with my friend Meg Haynes this morning, and she is just she's incredible. She's totally amazing. And she is a spiritual coach. She is she's actually got the divine feminine mastery mastermind. Like, she's incredible, an amazing human to learn from. So I had a call with her, and I was helping her navigate a few things. And one thing that's kind of like ringing big for me right now is the fact that hi Danielle, we literally, as the divine feminine, we are trying to seek, we are trying to get back to our natural state of being. Women used to congregate around the fire and have these tribal song moments together. Women used to, all cycles would literally mirror that of the moon cycle. So I'm reading this book right now called The Red Tent, and it's from the perspective of Dina, who is Joseph. Have you guys heard the Josephine the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat? Like that play, which is based off Abraham's 11 sons. And so Dina and Joseph are sister and brother, and it's from the perspective of Dina. And so at the time of, within that time period within the world, women were valued for the amount of sons that they produced, because the sons carried the father's legacy on and on and on and helped to do all the work. But truly they craved daughters, because it was the daughters that continued the women's stories. And it was the daughters that the women spoke their secrets to. So once a month, they would set up literally a red tent around the new moon, and they would, or the, where is it? Where's my chart? Yes, around the new moon, and they would go in and they would have their period together for 3 or 4 days, and then they would come back out. But that was sacred female, divine feminine time. So I think I guess just to wrap it up, like the final thing that I've been learning, which is amazing, is that within this age that we're in, a lot of women are feeling this pull right now. And many can't explain it because they haven't had the learning, the resources, the knowledge, the education, the presentation of the words to describe what it is, but they're really feeling the call and the nudge to get back to that divine feminine state, and to be surrounded by other women, do the tribal thing, do the sacred relationship thing with. And so it's just really cool witnessing that for myself, and then being able to put to words to it, and then understanding that, like, oh, that's because actually collective consciousness of the flipping universe is pulling us there. So cool. Was that rambly, or was that helpful?
No, I thought it was great. I think my first encounter with it was the first time like early in my 20s, after we graduated from college. I felt this pull to, I had a lot of anxiety back then, and I was like, I need to deal with this, like problem solving. I'm dealing with this. I'm going to a therapist, and I'm fixing this because I'm not dealing with this nonsense.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was around my skin, and I had like crazy cystic acne that like I had to stay home from work, that it was so bad. Like my eyes swelled shut because of like a horrible spot that I got. But I realized throughout that process that I'm very close with my dad, and we're very similar. But I realized growing up, he definitely, there was language around don't be too emotional, and there was a lot around that. And it's because my mom is she's almost bipolar. I'm just going to say that. She's very close to that. I've asked her to see a therapist multiple times, but that's her decision. So it was more my dad speaking to my mom through me, like, don't be too be emotional, but don't be too emotional. And so the one of the best things I've ever done for myself was, as a result of that therapy, going to my dad and saying, I am a woman, and it is okay for me to be emotional. I'm not over the top. I'm not hysterical. I'm not too much. I just feel the feels, and that's okay. And he looks at me and he's like, of course it is. I'm like, that's not what I heard all the time. But that was like it's kind of along those lines. And I've been thinking about that moment a lot recently, and how empowering that was, and just in this process. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
Huge. For me, it was the conversation of, you can do anything a boy can do, and girls rule, boys drool. And right, like, so, and this was also during the time of Title IX. So within female athletics, this was the time that Mia Hamm and I think in 99, was it 99? or 96, the Olympic team, the U.S. women won, U.S. women's soccer team won, and Brandy Chastain, I think, like took off her shirt and it was her in the sports bra, and that was a huge deal, right? So like this is during all that time for me. So for me, it was, you can do anything that a boy can do. And so great, but also now looking back, like, who the hell cares? How about you can do anything that you truly feel called to do, and you don't have to compare yourself and pretend to really put on the blinders to the female version of you and just pretend to be a boy. Because if you can do anything a boy can do, then you got to be able to hang with the boys. And so that was my thing, and that's what I'm unraveling now. It's fascinating. And here's the thing, right? You guys, like, our parents and their parents and their parents do the very best that we can. But here's what I believe. We are always doing the very best that we can until we recognize that it's not the best that we can anymore. And then it is our job to change it. And that's literally what we are, and our right. And we get to. Once we recognize that the best we can is not actually the best we can, we have the right and the opportunity to change it. And if we don't, then we're shortchanging ourselves and our kids and whoever else. But, you know, the baby thing like speaks very boldly to me. So we're learning now, ladies, and it is time to tap into the divine feminine, and it is time to stop subscribing to the fact that we have to freaking bust our ass constantly to create the abundance out of this place of like loss and fatigue and frustration and anger and force. Like, it's literally not going to happen. The way we are going to create what we want is to provide ourselves with the creativity and the expansion and the space. And when you are feeling like the walls are caving in around you, they are. So it's up to you to flex your divine feminine muscles and say, I need some time. I need some space. I literally cannot force through this. And the byproduct of tapping in to giving yourself creative time, space, joy, abundance for your future callings is that you get creativity, divine space, abundance now. Like, you get to feel the joy now.
It reminds me of and this is the last thing I'll say on it, but I looked up in my notes what Caitlin said at the retreat. Maybe it is supposed to feel too good to be true.
Yeah. So powerful.
And that may go to what you were saying earlier, or your question from last time, Anne, and the wearing all the hats.
Yeah.
It's supposed to feel too good to be true.
It is. And I will say this too. So, my friend Tori Doobie, who did I talk with about this? Was this our mastermind call last week? So we were talking about Abundance Land and Lack Village.
Yeah. So
my friend Tori, another amazingly incredible woman to follow, you guys. She finally, like, I've heard it a bazillion times, but finally when she said it, I was like, oh. So when we think, so let's talk about whatever, we can talk about money. When we think that we want to call in more financial abundance, we want to be financially free, we want to have the millions in the bank account, we are programmed to believe the only way that's going to come is by doing the work that's going to bring in the money. But actually, what we're seeking with that money is abundance, the feeling of abundance. And because we know, because of our work with Liza and because of our work together, we know that money is currency and currency is energy. That's all hanging out in abundance land. It doesn't matter how you get to abundance land, because once you're there, everything's available to you. Everything. It doesn't need to be the job that gets you to abundance land. It could be singing. It could be painting. It could be running. Whatever it is that makes you feel really good. And it could be cuddling up and watching your favorite movie, right? Like, whatever it is that makes you feel really, really good is your ticket into abundance land. Once you're there, it's all available for you. That's why giving yourself that creative space the reason we want the creative space, which sometimes means time, sometimes means distance, is because literally our job is to create joy. And for us, when we're told we have to go like this all the time, that's not freaking joyful. So when we ask for space and we open up, we are calling in joy to ourselves. And when we feel joy, we feel abundant. So it is supposed to be too good to be true, because when it's too good to be true, we're freaking in abundance land, and all is true in abundance land. All the money, all the clients, all the health, all the prosperity, all the vacations, all the everything, it's all there. And that is what Divine Feminine does, you guys, by rewiring ourselves and tapping into, and here's the, it's in us already. That's the best part. We don't have to freaking learn it. It's already there. We have to listen to it. We don't have to learn it. We have to listen to it. Now, like I just stated, I am an ever student. Putting the words to it, learning more about the facts and the history and all this stuff, that's exciting to me. But ultimately, if I sat right there and was quiet enough for long enough, I could hear her. And so that's what we do. We tap in. That's why we give ourselves silence. Personal development, you guys, is amazing. I am so freaking grateful for personal development. Hi, I am personal development. That's my job, right? Like, people listen to me for their own personal development. But ultimately, if it's going to be the mask for what is our true voice, that true divine feminine voice that is there, waiting for us to listen to her, then we're not doing ourselves any favors. So have your time for personal development, but then have your time for quiet with the intention of tapping in. And that's what crystals are for, you guys. That's what oils are for, because whatever it is that helps to center you, do it. Do it. Hold on to it if it makes you feel good. Lather it on if it makes you feel good. Nikki, that's why your baths are so sacred, right? Like your candle and your wine glass and your downtime, like that's sacred. That's goddess time.
Yep.
Mhm.
I've actually started saying that when because I wash my face first thing in the morning, and I'm like, this is my goddess time. And I'm like, it feels so good to like just wash and like put the lotion on, like, this is my goddess time. This is my goddess time.
So good, right? It's so good to just be present in that. A trick that I learned, I might have said this at another time, but so, I mean, you guys know, like, if we have our phones, we can be on our phones, right? So I have been turning on angel frequency music, not on Spotify, but on YouTube. Because if it's on YouTube and I click out of YouTube because, I'm just going to check something real quick on Instagram, the frequency music will stop. So that's literally been like my stop gate for myself. Like, no, this is on. This is my time. If I choose to click out of this, I'm not giving myself the time that I am craving. And the very proof of that is when the music stops. So that's a helpful little trick.
What is it called?
Angel frequency music. And you could just put that in the search bar.
You just put that in the search bar for YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Frequency.
And you can do, angel frequency music. And then, like, you can look through them. There's healing music. There is mantra music. I found one the other day that was, so God's healing frequencies. I found one that was actually feminine driven the other day. I'm sure you could just search it. Soothing, positive vibrations. It's really cool.
Ladies, I have to leave.
Okay, honey. We love you.
So much. Love you too.
Keep
Danielle,
us posted.
She's not in her little square now, but bye, Danielle. Hello. Out there.
Sorry I was so late. I had quite a day.
That's okay. All right, and post in the group, lean in, let us know how we can support you. Even just ask for help and prayers, and we'll fill everything with it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Nikki, thanks for asking about that. That was fun.
I'm just, well, like I told you earlier, I'm just soaking it all in. I'm like, I actually worry that I'm at, like with the scales of the throwing the cat poop and stuff, I'm at like, I've been at 6, 7 a lot lately, and I'm like, what is good? 4? Like,
They're all good. They're all good for certain things.
All good.
5 is like, the 5 is like kind of like the coach, and you're on it and you're in it, and like 5 is like a really, like, you're feeling really good and you can help people and you're taking care of yourself. 6, you seem a little bit flighty, you seem a little bit weird, like people can't quite tap in. 6 was when Kelsey slipped on ice and bent her finger back, and she thought it was cool because it didn't break, and people were like, dude. And 7 is like, you never know that you're in 7 when you're there. 7 is complete flow. You only know that you've been in 7 afterwards. It's like when you go for a run and you're like, how the hell did I get here? But it felt really good. And then you're like, oh, I was in flow. So
maybe I'm like 5, 6.
Yeah. And you've probably experienced some 7 in there too.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's more than okay. It's amazing. Like that's like one of the things to like look back and really appreciate. So proud of you.
Thank you. Me too.
Ride it.
Danielle, I have to say, you look like an angel right now with your beautiful light. Oh my goodness.
I just, thank you. I don't feel like an angel. It's my light shining on the porch.
It looks amazing.
Oh, I just needed to be outdoors. I needed to like sit outdoors, even though it's buggy and it's dark.
Divine feminine, you need the space.
Yeah, that's why I get up at 5 every morning, because I set my alarm for 5 so I can have my goddess time. That's what I'm calling it now. That's what I started calling it today. Because I get out, like, first thing I get my crystals, and I get like back in bed with my tea, and the dog comes back in, and then I get my like spirit animal cards or maybe my tarot card. Then I meditate, and then sometimes I journal, and I have like 2 hours before work to just like do whatever, you know.
So awesome. Ashley, just to give you a little bit of background too, we had a guest speaker last month, and you are now, you've got the ability to watch all those calls, but it was our call with Chris Britton, and she talked to us about goddess time, and it was really powerful. So just to give you a little bit of background of why we keep saying the word goddess time. But,
well, I think I listened to it. I think I did. Yeah. Did I?
You were there, right? I was talking to Ashley.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see her.
I know, she's in the car. She's driving.
Oh, okay.
You were there. Weren't you on the call with Chris?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What can we do for you, my lovely? How are you? Danielle.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Ashley. Sorry. She's down there and you were looking down.
Oh, because you're next to her on my screen.
Okay. I don't know. I just had a day. I haven't even eaten yet. So, oh my God, it's just one of those days where everybody fell apart. All my clients, I mean, just like minute after minute, I kept getting phone calls and texts of, you know, appointments that we didn't know, like nobody ever told us about, or somebody wanted to cancel. They don't want services because he was kind of forced into it by his family. And then I had just got home from the emergency room with another client who had to stop and vote on the way home from the emergency room. Good American. And just everything. And then in the middle of all that, I sold a great blue heron, and I was just like, I don't even. My phone went cha-ching, and I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. What do they want? And I looked at it, it was a great blue heron. I'm like, seriously? Like, I didn't have enough to do. And
that is actually hysterical, but do you know what's coming through big time right now? The universe is telling you to chill. Like, push the pause button, sit down, do a blue heron, have the angel frequency music on in the background.
Yeah.
That's what's coming through big for me right now.
I need to like spend that time on my animals because I kind of put that aside and I miss it. Yeah, I'm kind of like, wish I could just sit down and make an animal and listen to a podcast or whatever, Yeah. So that's it. I bet you're right. And I got invited to Lake Champlain out of the blue too, weekend after next.
With who?
The man. I know. Yeah. That I was like, what? I actually like I was
Like Virginia, man?
West Virginia man. Yeah, that I thought that was over and moved on. Yeah, and I guess he realized what an idiot he was. So he texted me. So I'm going to Lake Champlain, I guess, and I don't know what that's all about, but we'll see. So that was, you know what? That was after I stained my deck. You see, I took a day off. I stained my deck. I planted all my plants. I had a day of, I was so happy. And when you're happy, you draw things in, and then all of a sudden, oh, sure, I'll go to Lake Champlain.
Yeah, sister.
Huh? So yeah, pretty cool.
From the manifestation queen herself.
Legit. Like,
I gotta next weekend. I'm gonna like read my patio, so I don't know what'll happen after that. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But I really, you guys, oh my God, this whole raise your vibration, do what makes you happy. It just works like so instantly now. It's just crazy. I'm like, are you kidding me?
yeah. It's so powerful.
So powerful. So powerful. Yeah. And the more, every time I take a little time off, every time I take a day and go, you know what, I'm not going to work. I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to do something around here that I really want to do. That, and then I was so happy about my deck. I sat out here. I had my I had 2 new chairs. I made plants and I planted my herbs. And I was just like, oh my God, this makes me so happy. It looks so good. It's just one little piece, but there's a lot more to do. But it just makes me so happy. And then there's my text.
No, it's literally, Danielle, it's you, because you live in it afterwards. Like, you don't just do it and like say, okay, on to the next. Like, you live in it. You live in the joy. And that's what manifestation is. It's literally being in the joy throughout the creation process, right? Like, so we all think that, oh, I'm going to manifest $1 million and there it is. No, what you're going to do is you're going to enjoy the process of creating it just as much as having the money in the bank. And you do that so well.
Yeah, thanks. Well, it works. So I'm trying to, I have like, sometimes I just go through these days where I'm just like, so stressed and, just stressed and just not appreciating things. And then I go, oh, and then everything starts to like go wrong. And then I go, oh yeah, wait a minute, let me just turn this around. And it's like, it's within that day that everything starts to, now it's like, because I think I consciously do it maybe. Like I really try to be grateful and smile and I mean, all kinds of silly things like I say or whatever. It's like by that night, I get a bunch of stuff to where I'm like, what? This stuff actually works.
It's amazing.
It does. I'm just convinced. Yeah. So.
I'm blown away by all of this. I'm so excited for you. Can we help you with anything? Is there anything that's coming up that you're like, I need to know this?
If you could clone me, I said that today. I was like, Julie's going to ask that. I'm going to say, well, the thing I need right now is I need another me because there's not enough time.
Manifest them.
Manifest it.
Well, I do. I have like 8 little mini me's going around now. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just am just in.
Well, so here's the question. Do you think it's time to start thinking about a practice manager?
Well, I do need that because I was doing my client billing and it took me like 2 days because I have like 20 clients now, well minus 1 today, but I'm thinking like how can I keep like writing all this to these people and doing all this every other weekend? It's like taking so much time. But I don't feel like financially I'm right like to that yet, but if I didn't have my clients, I mean it would be no problem, but yeah, I feel like Yeah, maybe I do need to do something like that, because today I was thinking I can't take more. I need to like stop and regroup and like sit down and think about each client and what they need. And I was disorganized. My new employee, I didn't even have her phone number with me. I had to come home. Like, I'm disorganized. So, I hadn't put a phone number in, like things like that. I need to like focus, and I just can't because I'm too busy. I'm not complaining, but
No. It's just, that's the reality that you're in. So my thought is, like, in terms of spaciousness and expansion, the only way that you will allow for yourself to expand and give yourself the spaciousness is if somebody else is doing that stuff for you. And I know it's that never ending, like, but how can I afford this? How can I not afford this? But like, Danielle, think about it. You invested in me and your business is doing 40% better now, right? Because you literally said, I cannot get any further without help. This is the same deal. It's just another means. It's just another avenue. And this doesn't have to be somebody working 40 hours a week. This could be somebody working 10, 5 maybe, just.
Yeah, it might be like somebody, what I could do is, well, I wouldn't really want her, but I've got, one of my employees that could help me, because they don't, like, some of them still don't have as many hours as they want.
Yeah.
And a couple of them that I can think of right now that might be good at that. I have to think about, like, what will I have them do, that I don't need to do. And
so I feel like that should be a little bit of homework for you. Just as you're doing it, it doesn't have to be a sit down and jot it out. It can, if you can think of a couple things, but like, even with me, with my virtual assistant, like, I did that. I created like a page of like, okay, I could give this to her. But then, like, as I was doing stuff, I, like, with my podcast, I'm like, oh, she could do half of this for me. And I didn't think about that beforehand. So maybe as you're going through things, like, just add it to the list.
Right.
Somebody else can do this.
I already have, like I had one of my employees today. I was like, can you go to the senior center with her client? And it's Anne, who is just really personable. Everybody likes her, she's just so friendly and smart. And she was going with a client that everybody knows in town, that's a wife of one of our doctors, that she's just very popular too. So I was thinking, like, if they go there, they go and pick up the newsletter and go and pick up a calendar for this client. And I said, and while you're there, if you want to mention that you're one of my people that work at serving our seniors, she's like, no problem. Then that woman ended up in the hospital, and I had to go, not the employee but the client. That's where I've been. But so it didn't work out, but she was like, no problem. I love to talk about serving our seniors. So she, things like that, even she go out and do a little bit of PR for, well, I told her she's had a PR now because she's gotten me 2 new clients. So, which I've given her bonuses. So like, that's the other thing, I have them marketing for me too, her anyways. So like, she could do some stuff, and I have a couple other people that have a few hours that, I could think about who would be the best person. And, actually, the best person is up to like 28 hours now, so I can't use her.
It's always the busy person.
But they could start small. I could start like letting a little bit of it go. I don't have to do it all at once.
Yeah. I think it's time to start exploring that for you.
Yeah, I need help. Yeah.
Especially if you're going to be bouncing off to Lake Champlain every other weekend now.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, actually, on that note? What I was thinking the whole time was, what would you be doing with your time every other weekend if you're not spending 2 days doing the billing?
Yeah, right. I'd be going to Lake Champlain.
Well, but like, you're manifesting magic. You're going to be doing all the stuff you want to be doing and hiring 10 more people.
Yeah, that's true. I've got to be able to go, right? Yeah. I know. And I'm thinking, like, my son's coming with his girlfriend. They're coming for 10 days in July. Like, I don't want to be working all that time, and I don't want to be doing my billing like a whole afternoon while I could be going out to do fun stuff with them, So, yeah.
And that's just the beginning, right? And like, to Nikki's point, like, the more fun you have,
Yeah.
The more often you're getting to abundance land, who cares if it has anything to do with work? It doesn't matter. You're creating the space for the fun and the feel good feeling. So like the more you make yourself available for that,
Yeah.
the more often you're going to be
Go to
there.
Pier Imports. Do you know I haven't been to Pier 1 Imports once since the last time I went? Didn't I get a new client last time I went to Pier 1 Imports?
Yeah, and you like basically remodeled your a whole house in your head, and that's fun.
Yeah. So, and I bought a plate. Right? Something else.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, you guys. That's right. I just need those reminders of that I need to, and it's just risk taking. You know, it's just like take the leap and
Well, take the leap because like actually it not working out is not an option.
yeah,
It's just not. Like the way that you function within your business, the way that you function within your energy, things not working out is just not going to happen for you. Like there will be bumps in the road. There's bumps in the road for all of us. Those are called lessons and we need to learn them. But also like you're going to be massively successful with every leap that you take because A, you're willing to do the work, but also you're willing to do the work
yeah,
and
yeah.
to have fun and to tap in, right? So
I know, and you know, the more we believe that, like the more we like I used to, you know, always go, oh, well, I wish I had this. You know, oh, wouldn't that be great if I had that? Or yeah, if that could happen. Oh my God, that would be so great. I don't think that way anymore. I mean, and I don't want to like knock on wood, but, but I do now think like, yeah, that will be no problem because it's worked so well. And I think just thinking that way makes it happen. And you know what, even now, like I lost that client, that brand new client that I thought was gonna be like 9 more hours for somebody. He left, but then I was like, you know, he was being forced anyways. It wasn't gonna work out
yeah.
by his family. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, see you later. We'll get somebody else. You know, like I'm starting to think that way instead of going, oh my God, I just lost all those hours for my employee.
Right.
Yeah. And it will work out tomorrow or the next day or the next day. She'll get somebody better, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's exactly it. And not having those 9 hours that were forced now gives you 9 hours available for ideal people.
yeah. And he was not ideal. That's for sure. Yeah. So,
Huge.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So good. Oh, thanks, you guys. What a great call.
I know. Sorry I was so late.
No, that's okay. And Ashley, I'm glad that you got to listen in. If you have any questions tomorrow that you want to post in the group, we'll all be happy to chime in. I'm always happy to go live. And we're good about answering questions right in the same thread that it was posted. So that's it, you guys. Look at us. We like stayed on time too. This is amazing. Let's see. I am working on getting us a guest expert call for over the next couple weeks, and so that will be coming. I need to make sure that it's like solidified before I share. But that's coming, and that's about it, you guys. For now, school is done this week. School is done this week. I head to Indianapolis for Beachbodies Summit next week. And then after that, I will have a babysitter for like set amount of times, like every day. It's going to be so exciting. So one of my first priorities is to actually two. One is really getting through some things that I've got on a list for the live event. And then the other is busting out the rest of the modules for the Academy. So it's going to be really, really fun, really nice to have that spaciousness. I keep coming back to that. Okay, you guys, get some rest. Take care of you goddesses, and post in the group if you need anything.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.